Well, greetings and salutations, Series 9 test takers. This is Dean Tenney coming to you from my studio in fabulous Las Vegas with another explication request. We'll help you with any questions, just send them our way, and more than happy to help you out. This was received earlier. Hi, Dean. Thanks for all the great content. I spent the last 3 weeks studying away for the 9 field yesterday with the 67. I passed 63, 66 on my first try. Back when they gave scores in the 80s. Well, that happens, right? You develop your little niche, and then, years down the road, you got a test. And I think that can be a challenge on a 9 or a 4. If it's been, years since you had a 7, maybe you haven't been doing options. I always recommend maybe you want to brush up on the basics in the Series 7 playlist. I will put this in the Series 7 playlist as well as the 9 playlist, because I think it's testable for 9 as well. Probably not to the extent I'm going to explicate it, but too much is better than not enough. Felt pretty good having used SDC and getting good scores on a prep final test, so she was stunned. That being said, I watched your field Now What, and I'm addressing study plan and possible supplement with Kaplan QBank. Highly recommend that. Any Kaplan product, you can get a 10% discount with Guru 10 at checkout. Yeah, and if you have the misfortune, check out that podcast episode. It has 5 steps and how to respond to that. That being said, one of the questions that stuck with me yesterday, and hoping you can give me a quick answer, because I'm thinking I got it wrong with something like this. So here we go. A client sold short 100 shares of ABC at 40. So first thing, we got to say, okay, we sell borrowed stock. And wherever we have stock and options, the stock dominates. You can't let a stock tail, or excuse me, an option tail, wag a stock dog. You should also know that if we sold short the 100 shares of ABC at 40, we're interested in the offset, meaning I have to buy back the borrowed stock. So I'm either going to be a smart bear and have a choice to buy back the borrowed stock and give it back to the person I borrowed it from, or I'm going to be a dumb bear. I'm going to create an obligation to buy back the borrowed stock. And when somebody sticks me the stock, I say, thanks, I needed to cover my short position. Now, the problem with that is that's not effective hedge. It's not, effective protection. You don't want to have an obligation, you want to have a choice. Anyway, so it looks like here we got a dumb bear. This client sold one ABC November 40 put at 5. So we sold short 100 shares at 40. That's the dominant thing. It doesn't matter what comes next. I'm a bear. So I don't sell short unless I think the stock is going down. I sold an ABC 40 put at 5. I highly recommend on the puts that, maybe underneath it on your official Prometric scratch, you put what is the contract specification. The contract specification of a short put is an obligation to buy the stock at 40. For that, I brought in 5 points. What is the break even? As Dean always says, fire up the T. If you can track money in and out of an account, and you know contract specifications, you don't even memorize anything, and you'll get 100 in any kind of an option question. You're going to say, bring it on. So here she says, she said 35, but she's thinking the short position takes precedence, and she's right. And it's actually 40. It's not. But that's where it looks like common mistake. What I mean by that is people look at a 40 put, they've memorized break evens. I'm not saying don't memorize break evens. I'm just saying that, if you memorize them and disapply that, if this was just a 40 put at 5, the break even would be 35. And that would be your max gain would be 40 or higher. Put expires, neener. You keep the money. And worst case, you'd be paying $40 for worthless stock. But this is not what's going on. The stock indeed does dominate. So now what we're going to do is make our T. And we are brought in 40 for the short stock position. Again, I like to do things on a per share basis. So I'm not going to put 4,000 there. I did an opening sale at 40. I also then sold the 40 put at 5. So I brought in a total of 45. I like to use dollars out. Some people like to use credit. Some people like to use pluses or minuses. Now, if you get good at that, then you can shop the answer set. And so, well, ultimately, I need a number that makes the columns break even, because it'd be the same, right? Because that's what break even is. Same dollars out as dollars in. And so the break even here is 45. It's the one time and the one time only, right? That it's not put down. And the reason it's not put down is because this is not an option position. This is a stock position. So here, whenever you get the stock position, long or short, right, you're going to combine that with the option premium, the Ita Libre Plus, adding them together, or, netting them, depending on what's going on. So anyways, the answer to the question is C, 45. Our max gain, this is why this is a supervisor. This is the more likely test question. This is kind of silly because 40 or lower, the put is going to get exercised. And I'm going to buy the stock at 40, give it back to the person I borrowed it from. So, and the only thing I can make here is 5 points, which again is very kind of foolish because I'm taking unlimited risk. And I think as a series 9 or a series 7, that is the most important thing to recognize. That if you've sold short ABC at 40, you sold short the stock, and you write a put, you sell a put, you have not effectively hedged the position. You are still subject to unlimited risk. Now, if you're a 7 watching this, please close your ears and, don't listen here. But one of the things you do get tested on the 4 and 9 are what we call synthetic options. And they might say this is most similar to, and that's why this is foolish. If you're short 1 ABC, November 40 call at 5, your break even is 45, your max gain is 5 points, and you got max losses unlimited. So those intellectually are the same positions. And so short the stock and short the put is most similar to a naked call. And why would you want to do that? Why would you want to do that, right? So I hope that was helpful for you. If you sell short 100 shares of ABC at 40, you bring in 40. You sell an ABC November 40 put at 5, you bring in 5, you bring in a total of 45. Your break even, remember, is same dollars out as in. So the answer to this question is C. I think it's more likely that if you see this, it gets probabilities. I don't doubt that she saw something like this. But in terms of probability, I think it's much more likely to be able to recognize that this has not been effectively hedged and still has a unlimited loss potential. Now, remember, if that was a long call, we would have effectively hedged the position. So let's see what else we have going on here. I think that's pretty much it. There we go. Okay, so remember, inch by inch, your series 7 or 9 is a cinch. Yard by yard, your exam is hard. And I will see you for the next explication request. Bye-bye.